Open the door and come on in, 'cause this is where the fun begins. You don't have to be a penny or a dollar to step inside Gelato's parlor. This podcast can pass a test, and you'll enjoy my special guest. Take a seat and close the door, and join Mr. Ray to find out more. So let's hear you holler. Welcome to Gelato's Parlor. With your host, Ray Gelato. That's me. Hello, everybody, and a warm welcome to Gelato's Parlor. You just heard my very own theme tune, which I wrote, and I hope you enjoyed it. Anyway, it's been real fun to revive these Gelato Parlor podcasts, and I hope you enjoyed it. I've got some nice reviews and that sort of thing, and we've had some lovely guests on as well. But this specific episode, I'm just going to recount a little story that I remember, something that happened to me, quite embarrassing, many, many years ago, way back in those good old days of the 80s. And I'll tell you this story in a sec, but I just want to say, first of all, thanks for listening. Second, I hope you're all well and you're all coping okay during these very strange locked down times. And also, finally, please subscribe. You can listen to these on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, and on my YouTube channel. And please do subscribe. But also, if you feel like it, and if you're able, only if you can leave a very small donation. I now put a PayPal button up on these because a little contribution certainly helps me to keep these going. But anyway, let me launch into this little tale. This happened back in the 80s, right? And I was playing, well, I was part of a band called the Chevalier Brothers. It was a lovely swing combo, and some of you may have heard of it. If not, check us out on YouTube. We were very popular in the 80s. We did a lot of TV. We did the John Peel Show. We did things like Jasper Carrot, and we were on the BBC quite a lot. And it was, I consider that band, the Chevalier Brothers, sort of paved the way a little bit for the swing revival that came a bit later in the 90s in the States, you know, and also spread over here. But anyway, I'll tell you about the Chevalier Brothers more in another episode. But so I'm playing in this band, and we were very busy, you know, and we used to play a lot of universities, especially during the May ball months, they called it, the May and June time. So what happened was, we go on tour, and we were in a van. We had a band van at the time. And I realised that I'd left, in those days, you know, I was very young and scatty, and I'd left without packing enough clothes. We were on the road for a few days, and I didn't have any underwear, didn't have any underpants. And I was talking about this in the van. I said, oh, bloody hell, I forgot my underpants. What am I going to do now? The drummer, I'm not going to mention his name. He's a lovely bloke. He's still actually a mate of mine. He was I've got to say, he was a bit of a kleptomaniac, which meant he used to like to nick things once in a while. That was his business. I didn't want to get involved in that, but that's how he got his kicks, I guess. And he had played with some very famous bands as well, but he had a short period being the drummer in the Chevalier Brothers. So he heard me say about the underpants. Anyway, I didn't think anything of it. And when we were checking into the hotel a little bit later on, well, it wasn't a hotel in those days. It was probably some dodgy B&B or whatever it was. And the gig was some university, I think. Jeff said to me, here, Ray, I've got you these. And he handed me a packet of underpants, about 3 or 4 different pairs. And obviously, I think he'd probably offloaded them somewhere from British Home Stores or something. I'm pretty sure about that because he laughed. And I said, thanks, Jeff, that's nice of you. And they were like dodgy old-fashioned Y-fronts that people used to wear back then. But the problem was, when I opened them up, each one had a logo on the sort of crotch piece. And it was all a different kind of logo, you know, a stupid sort of logo, you know, all sorts of stuff. I can't remember, but a lot of double entendres on this piece and the little picture. I didn't think nothing of it. Stuck these underpants on. Did the gig, boom, boom, boom. Anyway, a few weeks later, I was a weightlifter back then. I used to do the bodybuilding thing, and I hurt my back. I was doing some squats, and I really hurt the back of my neck. And I went to my GP, and the GP says, well, look, you need an osteopath. And what I could recommend is I can write you a referral to the British School of Osteopathy, or the London School of Osteopathy. I can't quite remember. And I said, oh, that sounds great. Where is it? And she said, well, it's off Trafalgar Square. So I head on down now, I go to Trafalgar Square, go into this London School of Osteopathy. And I'm waiting in the waiting room. And anyway, I go in. Now, what I didn't realise was, I should have, I was stupid, that I'm being seen by students. So the main doctor comes in, he goes, oh, hello. Would you mind if we get our medical students in, and we've got one who will examine you, who will see what the best procedure is for your bad back. But we've got and we'll bring some others in. So I says, no, of course not. I'm happy to help. So a bunch of these people come in, girls and blokes, and very, very pretty girls, actually. We're about the same age as me. I was probably in my 20s. These girls are about the same age. And one of them said, oh, I know you. I saw you play. You played at my medical college. Can't remember which one it was. It was in London a couple of months ago. You're that guy at the Chevalier Brothers, aren't you? And bear in mind, the Chevalier Brothers was quite a popular band among students and young people back then. And I said, yeah, that's me. I'm the sax player and singer. Oh, and then she was saying, oh, this guy's absolutely fantastic. And she was a stunning looking girl in the white coat and all that. So anyway, I lie down on the table. Says, would you take your shoes off? And she was the one doing the examination. So she starts, can you take your shirt off and then your T-shirt? I said, sure. I didn't mind that because I was in good shape back then, no waist and muscular. And she starts massaging me and doing all this and trying to find where it is. And she's talking to her, in the technical terms, to her colleagues, all these other young people. There was about 10 of them in the room. And then she says, well, look, we need to check the back of your spine. Would you mind taking your trousers off? So I says, no, of course not. Anyway, I thought, to my horror, the underpants I'd put on that morning were the ones that the drummer, sorry, I was going to say his name then, the drummer had nicked. And what they did, this pair of underpants had a logo on the crotch piece that had an old Ever-Ready battery, those Ever-Ready batteries we used to have. I don't know if you can still buy them, I'm sure you can. And it had a little Ever-Ready battery with a little cartoon man on top that says, I'm always ready. So I says, yeah, I'll take my trousers. No, do I have to? She goes, well, yes, you've got to examine your whole body because it's going down your leg, the pain. I had to take my trousers off. And I had these blue underpants on, light blue Y-fronts with the Ever-Ready battery on the crotch piece and the little cartoon that says, I'm always ready. And everyone was looking, everybody was giggling. I've never been so embarrassed in my life, honestly. And all these beautiful, stunning ladies looking at me with this stupid, terrible pair of underpants. Anyway, that was the podcast I just wanted to do to recount that story. I'm going to do a couple of little stories from the road. Thanks for listening, everybody. Once again, you can make a very small contribution on the PayPal button at the bottom. You can listen to this on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and whatever. And I'll see you on the next one. This is Gelato's Parlour. Goodbye, everybody.